Hey everyone. In this tutorial, we're gonna just play with a simple Grasshopper script using Lattice, the plugin for Grasshopper, and then we'll just kind of take it from there and see what we can create. So I'm going to load up Grasshopper. Lattice is a free plugin for Grasshopper. It should just have these components, but first we got to give it some shapes. This is going to be a really easy tutorial. I'm just typing circle for now. We might want to change the shape later. Just see what we get for now. And then I'm going to type in move for now. And actually we'll do double circle. I'm just going to give it some radius. I'm going to check which units we're in real quick. Meters, I'm just going to go to feet. Okay, scale it, yep. Okay, so just plug in 15 and 15. We're going to move one up in the Z direction. I can just copy and paste that 15 down again. Okay, plug that in just like so. And so from here, I'm just going to loft these two together. And this is going to be our initial first shape. Loft here. And then we're able to play with the height of this and the dimension of it. Really easy. And we can just hide these for now. And from here, what I'm going to do is we're going to put a sphere right in the center of it. So I'm going to type in sphere. And for the sphere, we need a base point for which it's going to be oriented. So I'm going to type in cap into our loft. And to get the volume centroid, just type in volume. And that'll give us the center point of the overall loft that we just created. We're going to plug in the base point into C. That's our point. I'm going to turn off the cap and the C for now. And that'll be our sphere for the center here. And I'm going to give it a radius. I'm just going to type in 5. So we're going to try to keep it smaller than the other, or the initial loft. And so from here to here, we have two different surfaces. And what I want to do is add some rotation on here, because when you get to interlattice, it'll start to make some cool patterns that we can start to play with. And you can kind of see the seam here is aligned, so we want to make sure those are a little bit different than the other. So I'm just going to type in rotate. We're going to rotate the sphere around the center centroid of the loft. We're going to change the A to degrees instead of radians. And I'm going to type in 150 period. That'll give us a pretty big range to play with. Okay, since these two variables are closely related here, I'm just going to take those here. Okay, and I'm going to just hide this. And then from here we can go up to interlattice, and I'm going to go to this one, conform surface. And for interlattice we need an actual cell type, and that's what the topo is, or surface 1, surface 2, and then our NU, NV, and W. And then we're probably not going to play with morph today, but these are just basically UVs and then the subdivision in between the surfaces. So if we go up here to cell, it's going to give us our preset cells. Just going to plug that into here. And so our first surface is going to be our loft. We'll plug it into the loft. Lost it. I'm going to bring this out just a little bit more. Our second surface will be the sphere. And then from here, what we can do is just hide the sphere in the loft for now. Just like so. And so if we rotate our sphere, it's going to give us all these different kind of patterns that are happening within that grid. And then interlattice is pretty cool because it comes with presets. So this is grid, the X, star, cross, tesseract, tiles, octet, diamond, honeycomb 1, honeycomb 2, and grid again. So we're just going to play with those. And then for the NU, NV, and W, I'm going to keep the numbers relatively small. So what I'm thinking is we're going to do some mirroring today. And so we need 3 of those. Let's get them organized a little bit. And I'm just going to plug them into all 3 here. And so by default it must be 5 because I don't see any changes. So I'm going to bring them a little bit lower. And let's see what kind of patterns we're getting. I want to go with kind of, I don't know, kind of a wireframe kind of looking model today. So let's just see where we get. So cross looks pretty cool. Tesseract a little complicated. Octet's alright. diamond looks pretty cool for this. If we play with the rotation, I can get some cool stuff happening. We can add to it, make it smaller. Okay, we'll play with that. And then from here, I'm just going to use, I think it's gradient, heterogene. This will start to make it a mesh. So give it some geometry, and if we were to bake this out, basically it's pretty much, it's ready to 3D print. It's a solid in volume. And then we can start to mess with the radius, min and max, and then you can also start to play with, and I don't know if we're going to do it today, but you can put a gradient in there. So if you wanted it to be thicker in some parts or thinner in the other, maybe we'll just play with it today then. You can make it thicker or thinner in whichever direction. So this is linear X, so thin over here, thicker over here, and we can start to play with, you know, if we want the minimum to be 1 and the maximum be 2, for instance, or let's just make it big, 4. We just plug it into our max, our min. Oop, I got this backwards. So I'll just unplug this, Control Shift, that'll smooth the plug. So they're the same right now, but if we do minimum, let's say that's even smaller, the max is getting bigger right there. You get some pretty cool shapes relatively quick. And again, we can, you know, play with what it starts to look like within here. So we can get more complex shapes or not so complex. Today I think we're going to pretty much just stick with not super complex, but let's just see where we get. And you can start to see it's kind of based on voxels, so there's going to be kind of ribbing happening, and it's kind of like meta ball effect. So I want to get rid of that a little bit, so I'm going to type in smooth. We're going to go to mesh smooth mesh, excuse me. The S is strength. We're going to put that at a 1, so I think it just goes 0 to 1 if I'm not wrong. Yep, 0 to 1 factor. Now I'm going to turn off the struts and all this stuff for now so we can see what the final product's going to look like. And then we need iterations for it. So how many times is it going to go back over and smooth more? So I'm just going to type in 11 and see where that gets us for now. So that got it really smooth, really fast. So we might want to tone that down just a little bit unless we increase the actual radius more. So you can see it starts to disappear, but we don't necessarily want that for today. I might bring up the min over here and then maybe bring up the max just a little bit so we can start to see some variation happening in here. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool. And then what I want to do is just kind of have a mirrored figure, because I was thinking this is kind of just a kind of an odd shape floating in space. Let's get some symmetry in there. So for this, I'm just going to type in mirror. And we could do pufferfish mirror, but I'm just going to leave it relatively simple for today, even though pufferfish is super simple. Type in XYZ. We're going to construct a point. And then which way are we going here? So by default, it goes off of the origin plane. I think we're going to go over to the X. So we're going to move this 0.5 over, put that on our point, and then we're going to mirror it in the YZ plane. So we need to type in YZ. Okay. And from here we can start to play with, we can start to play with how it's mirrored. So that shape's starting to already look pretty cool, but we might want to bring it over a little bit so we get some distance on it. I'll just go up to 30 maybe. There we go. That's looking pretty cool already. All right, pretty cool shapes happening. Yeah. Again, if you guys want to keep messing, you know, with the actual form, you can make it smaller. It's always going to change. You know, even from the general loft. You know, if you're not happy with the first one, you know, it's not end of day. So that's why it's parametric design. Okay. And then I want to give it kind of some layering happening here. So what I want to do is join these meshes. Just type in join maybe. That'll pop up. We're going to flatten it so it thinks of it as just one list. Okay, go mirror, mesh smooth. Now it's just one mesh. We can hide all that. Okay, and then I just want to move them up in the Z direction. And we're going to type in series. So we'll give it a series of moves. Okay, we'll give it a count of 4 for now. And we'll move it up. Let's just type in 2 period. And let's get those lined up just a little bit. So organized. From here, so 2 is pretty large. So I'm going to bring that down so they're almost just touching. Okay, we get kind of a bone-like structure. And then over on our minimum, I'm going to bring down the small size just a little bit. And then I'm going to bring down the large size just a little bit. Just for pure aesthetics. Okay, so it's kind of looking pretty cool, kind of skeletal or alien-like. And then I'm going to go back to our conform SS. And we can start to play with, how many different, we'll just call them bones for today, there are in the center. I might bring that back down. How many are on this side? Maybe that could start looking cool or not. So let's just see what we get. And then from here, I'm going to start messing with kind of pattern changing just for the actual material of what the rendering is going to look like. So I'm going to give it a couple more layers in here. And then I'm going to turn down the distance between. And then what I'm going to do is type in call pattern. We're going to right click on P. We're going to set multiple booleans. For now, I'm just going to delete the 2 center ones. We're going to go false true for this one. And I can just copy and paste that down if we like, or type in a new one. This one's going to be true false. And that'll give us a pattern, so it's every other one. And from here, we'll just go into move. So if I click on there, it's those 2. If I click on this one, it's those 3. Pretty easy. And then from here, all I'm going to do is just grab that mesh join again. And we'll just make sure those are all joined out. So we just have 2 components to bake, and we don't have to look in a lot of spots. Alright, so let's give it a first bake and take a look in rendered view what it's starting to look like. It's looking pretty cool. Relatively quick too. Okay. And just so you guys know, we can type in custom preview, and basically that'll, we don't need to bake it out every time. If we type in color, CLLOUR, swatch, we can change the color, and then basically we don't have to bake it out every time, and it's, instead of going back and forth, deleting and then exiting out of Grasshopper, can kind of make your life a little bit easier. And so we can go even more on these, maybe. And then what I want to do is bring down the minimum, or the max, sorry. And then we'll bring down the min. Alright, let me play with smoothing maybe a little teeny bit. That's good. So if we go too smooth, we lose it. If we go too low, it's almost too pipe-like. It's just 4 look like. 5. Let's do 6 and be safe. And then we'll just increase these once again. Yeah. Okay, I might just bring that down to 5. And that's what the radius is. I want kind of some space in between here. I want these to stick out just a little bit more. Alright, now we can just kind of just mess around with, we could rotate that sphere even more, so it's changing, which is pretty cool looking. And this definition is relatively light, so it's pretty cool to visualize. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do something like that, which is looking cool. What happens if we bring this number down? Bring it up, it's even busier. Kind of like the busy. What happens if we do this one? It gets really busy, pretty crazy, really quick. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. All right, I'm gonna bring that down to 4. This one to 2. What about this one to 2? That's pretty busy, but I like the overlapping that's happening. If we bring this one down, what happens if we just do this 2 layered? I'm very indecisive because, I mean, anything you render out is basically going to look cool with this. That looks pretty neat. I think I'll just go with something like that. That's looking pretty cool. And then one other thing I wanted to try is, we can go back to the preset gradient, and if we mess with spherical, for instance, it's going to come from the center out. Or if we do cylindrical, what about centered? What's that do? Okay, so it's thin towards the center. Let's see. X looks fine. Okay, so from here, that's pretty much it for the Grasshopper stuff. So I'm just going to bake these 2 out. Should be all set up in Rhino for us already. So really clean, simple model. I'm just going to type in bounding box like we typically do for the landscape. Let's explode it out. Okay. And then, not quite sure what landscape we'll do today, but what's it feel like? Maybe do some, since it's kind of a light structure, I wonder if we get underneath it, put kind of a marshland or something underneath there. Maybe we'll make it kind of a rainy scene. So I'm just going to spread that, or make that surface a little bit bigger. Type in a lot of points for it, 125, 125, or whichever you like. I'm going to type in inverse and lock the model. And then from here, all we need to do is turn our points on. And then I'm going to go up to my select tab, turn on the paintbrush. That surface might be just too big to actually play with it, so I'm going to make it smaller. Okay, and then from here, turn on our points again. All right, and then I'm going to select these through here, make kind of a circular pattern. Awesome. I'm going to go through here, go right here. It's kind of cool when you do it in perspective mode because it's going to start to sprawl it out. And then you already set up yourself for the landscape in the background. So pretty quick little trick. And again, if you hold shift and drag your mouse up and down, it'll make the brush bigger. Okay. This will be our marshland. Let's have it kind of spread out here too. And maybe through here. And this needs to have some points in there as well. Looks great. Very cool. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just lower those just slightly. And then I'm going to type in invert. That's going to select our other points. Now I'm going to bring those up so we got kind of a hill form happening. All right, and then as usual, I'm going to type in smooth just so it doesn't look so Rhino-like, and we get some nice terrain happening. That was really, really quick to make. And then right-click on surface tools, click a plane all the way across. This is going to be our water layer. Okay. And if parts don't make it through, that's all right too. Okay, I'm going to bring it lower. So that's looking nice. Okay, and so we're going to turn that one to water. Okay, this one, I'm going to split it. Basically, we're going to deselect here. This is going to be our grass. This would be our kind of rock. likely just be soil at the end of the day. We're gonna unlock everything. And just for now, I don't know what materials I'm actually gonna pick. So from here, I might just make this, I don't know, stucco for now, but we might actually change it to leaves when we get to Lumion. And it doesn't really matter right now. And then we could have done this in Grasshopper, but I might just select these in scale 1D so we get some variation happening. So if I go to render view again, parts are kind of start to evolve from the actual shape and come out, because that might just add some extra layering in there. And then from here, I'm just going to add some extra landscape on the outside. So let's see here. Start from here, just so it fills out the scene a little bit more, and we'll just make it a grass layer as well. Oop, that might not work. Okay, so I'll just draw a rectangle. Oop. We're gonna split it out. So you got that center. We'll change that to a grass layer as well. I change it to sand just in case the area is too big, but all is good. And then just so Lumion doesn't go crazy on us, I'm going to scale this to an appropriate size. So for now, I'm going to make that about, let's do 45 feet. Was it bigger before? Yep, we'll leave it as is. And we can export this to Collada. Okay, and we should be ready for Lumion. Alright guys, I just imported the model to Lumion here, and we're just going to select it, start placing materials on it. So we'll start with water, go to nature. Since it's kind of swampy, might just kind of make it relatively kind of green maybe. Grass, we're going to go to natural, we'll do 3D grass, and we're going to make it pretty long. Let's see here, or make it kind of wild. So let's go here, kind of long. Let's see here, I'll turn down that scale. Gravity force, we want it to be pretty straight up. Bending force, bring it down. Grass size. And that's pretty good to me. And then for the actual ground, I put it as rock, which it wouldn't be. We're going to go over to nature again. And let's see what they have. It wouldn't be rock. Let's do soil. Pebbles, no. Something like that. Kind of want it to look like mud. That might have to do. Let's see if they got any other decent ones here. Not mulch. These are all pretty much mulch for rock. We don't want that. Let's go back to the previous one. This one kind of looks like mud. Yeah, it gives kind of a brown effect too. That's good. Okay, and then from here, let's just start playing with some variations, basically. I did want to try one with just leaves, if it doesn't get too crazy. So let's just tone down how big the leaves are, and turn down the spread so they look semi-organized. Let's just see what different types of leaves we can get. So leaf type, go super green, we could go red, do multicolor, which could look cool. Red kind of looks neat. Maybe that's not it either. What's fur look like? Fur could look cool. Maybe. Let's try it. Barely have any fur projects, I don't think, so turn up the hair, make the length a little bit longer, gravity force, bring it up high. I don't know what velvet scale means, but that's alright. Roughness, we'll bring that down low. And then the other one, let's make it kind of a shiny white. Let's do indoor. What's this? Could do some sort of tiling on that one. Turn up the gloss, or reflectivity down, gloss up. A furry skeleton thing. So that looks cool. All right, and then let's just add in some entourage here. I'm gonna do some nature stuff. Since it's kind of a marsh, we want some kind of grass stuff. And we'll just kind of place it strategically around the spots where potentially these kind of cattail things would grow. Throwing some random ones here and there. Then later on I'm going to drop them so they look like they're actually in the water. These ones are dead, which is not great. So let's get some, oh, there's actual foxtails. Okay. Put them there. So the live ones are in the center, dead ones towards the water, which doesn't make sense, but that's all right. Okay, we'll put some kind of unique grass in some areas. Let's see here. Just trying to add to it so it makes the scene kind of look like it has variation just instead of just grass. Let's see here. What's this look like? Looks cool. I like it. Put some around the structure. The fur thing. Okay. Rough grass. Let's go back to the dead stuff. Add some in here. Cool. Some random ones happening. Basically, we're just trying to make a little ecosystem here. And we can't forget about the sides. Okay, put some through here. Where's the live ones at? I know I got some messages. I could use this tool, but I feel like the cluster, it doesn't place them right. Like if you think about, like grass, like it clusters, and like plants kind of cluster where they are just because of distribution and seeds and all that stuff. So I don't really necessarily like that stuff. Anyway, we're gonna do a couple just kind of broadleaf trees. I wonder if they got any nice weeping willows. There's so many trees. We'll do a search. Willows. Willow. Alright, do a weeping willow out in the background maybe. Maybe a couple. Maybe a taller one out there. Maybe one kind of just sitting. There's a real big one. Okay, we're going to put it in way back. I don't even know if you'll see it. We forgot to assign a material out here, so we'll have to go back and do that. Alright. Ah, heck, why not a dead one too? We got dead grass. Might as well have a couple dead weeping willows. Alright, and then let's do that search thing again. And I'm going to delete this for now. This might actually look really cool with leaves in the actual water. Kind of like a fall scene. Alright. There's a dense patch in here. A couple more through here, dense. Maybe a couple dense spots in there. That looks pretty cool. Glad I noticed the leaves. Alright, and then we need to go back to our materials real quick. Change this over, and I think we can make this grass as well. Doesn't seem to be super heavy. Yep, perfect. And maybe we'll make this grass length much bigger. a little bit taller so it looks kind of background noise. And what I want to do now is maybe put some animals in here. Let's try farm animals maybe. Nice quarter horse maybe out in the distance. Two of them. So just hanging out. Okay. And we can't forget the birds. I don't even know if you'd see these little sparrows, but that's all right. Okay. And again, just like the last time, we gotta select them and bring them up in the air because they're just sitting on the ground pretty much right now. And so we gotta be kind of cautious how high they are. So we want to be able to see them. So I'll bring them up just a little bit. Okay, so if we get on the ground level. Okay, we can kind of see them. That's good. Let me bring them up a little bit higher. We're going to use this tool just to bring them over. Okay, just bring them over top. Oop. I don't know if you guys ever have this, my hands do what Rhino does sometimes, and then you go to other programs, and then that muscle memory just doesn't work sometimes. Okay, just enough to see some birds. That's looking really nice. And then maybe just a couple ducks. Some male mallards. How's that? I don't even know if you'll be able to see them, but that's all right. It's very, very mallard-like scenario. This is not a mallard duck, but that's just fine. All right, let's set up our rendering for now. Let's see, what's our view look like? That looks pretty good. It's a kind of first go. I was thinking this one's just pure symmetrical, so looks good to me. Custom style, realistic. I'm gonna add some precipitation with the sun. So let's bring that down just a little bit. Oop, not that far. Maybe like that. Sun heading. Let's get some shadow happening. Looks pretty good. Go to FX. I'm going to go to camera. Let's put 2-point perspective on so everything's straight up and down. Zoom our camera out just a little bit so we get the horses, some of the ducks, the leaves, birds. I'm going to save the camera. And then precipitation. Let's go right here. We're going to make it rain for now. All right. Precipitation phase. Let's get some quantity in there so we can see stuff. Let's do some fog. Let's see, it's raining. All right, and then I want to get some more clouds in there, so I'm just going to go to sky and clouds. I'm going to do master cloud amount. Just bring that up so we get a little bit of blue sky in there. I'm going to take out all the high clouds so we get a little bit of a hint. The low clouds I'm going to take away just a little bit. So it's just kind of a gray sky. From here, adjust that camera just a little bit. I don't know if the photo's going to work, everyone, but we'll see what happens. So let's see here. What number are we on? 58. All right, let's save. And the hair might actually take a little while to render in comparison. And I'm going to straighten out the camera. This distance isn't the same as this distance. But that's looking pretty cool already. Might have to get some horizontal fog happening. Then we might want to add some coloration on the actual fur and maybe alter that white just a little bit. But it's looking pretty cool relatively quick. All right, let's get that camera better. Looks pretty even right now. So let's leave that. We're going to add some fog. Let's see, fog. Where's that fog density? There we go. Kind of a moody scene. Let's go back to our work here. Let's change the actual fur to something a little bit different. I wonder if we need, is gravity bad or good? I think gravity might be bad. What happens if we go just full cow on this one? gravity bad, so go up with it. Fur size, fur length is alright. Make it pretty furry. Alright, and then the map scale, let's make it big. It's as big as we can go for a furry structure. Velvet scale, I don't know what that means again. We do just go really furry for this one, and then these, I'm not quite sure what I want with this. I think it needs some sort of striping on it to make it look a little bit more real, and maybe this is actually going to do it. So if we do map scale, bring it down, and we're going to turn reflectivity off, gloss on. Okay, this is what we get here. I might increase the focal length just a little bit more to get more of the scene happening. Up here that we're getting closer to. Nah, that one looked better. Okay, let's see what that renders out like. 58. I like that. So we get some kind of primary happening here with the non-fur members, and we're getting fur. I think this is going to be a good one. A little bit of fog. I think this is it. Yep. And we'll take it over to Photoshop just for some adjustments, and I think it's going to be really quick and easy to touch up. Alright, so just pretty basic Photoshop on this one. I might just highlight some areas just to give it kind of some highlights, just make it a little bit brighter in some areas, kind of give it that diffuse look just a little bit. And then I always do vignetting on the bottom parts, and I know you could have the Lumion do that for you, but I don't know, I guess just kind of take pride in it, do it myself. So just paintbrush really quickly, and then sometimes I overdo it, so I'll take the eraser just like so, bring down the opacity just slightly, and then I'm going to hit Control J, and let's just see what happens when we do kind of auto contrasting and auto coloring. Yeah, kind of not sure which one I like more. Yeah, it's tricky. I kind of like them both. So what I'm going to do is just turn down the opacity on our newer one, and we'll get a mixture of the two. Okay. And from here, let's just add a little bit of highlights into the grass area, just like so. I think this one's probably the easiest one to do. Oops, I didn't want to flatten the vignette area. Let's go back. Alright, let's go back here, just merge these layers. Vignette might need a little bit of work, so it's pretty dark in some spots. We don't want it looking like tornado weather. Okay, and then down through here, just do like that. Perfect. And then again, we'll just kind of highlight some areas in the grass here. Kind of wash out the weeping willows in the background. And then maybe these orange areas we kind of darken up just a little bit using the burn tool. Okay, that one might want to be brighter. Okay, just like so. Highlight some areas. Again, it's looking pretty sweet. Hit the eraser button again. Oop, not that far. Alright, and I think that's just about it. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like these videos, definitely hit like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. You can see my website at danocabindesign.com. Check out my Instagram, danocabindesign, and I'll try to keep these up, and I hope you all enjoy them. Thanks so much. Bye.